Glad everybody's going to come on tonight. Whoop, I did that wrong. Oh, there we go. Let me turn my light on and plug me in. There we go. Now we're live. Yay. All right. So we've been working with bottles lately, and this was our bottle. In fact, I'm going to just take this down. We're going to need our space. All right. Now these are the ice bottles. They're called ice. They're a drink, and they come like so, right? And I showed you the other day how I cut them at a angle. Let's see if I have something that can show an angle. Oh, that's not a very good angle, but I hope you can see it. It's cut at an angle though. Here's my hand. Here's the other end of the glass, and it is at that kind of an angle. I hope that helps. All right. Try to slide you up a little closer. Um, Now, if you take, you're going to want to punch some holes. You just grab my hole puncher because I didn't do that yet. And you're probably going to want one, just kind of like pick an average spot that you're going to, you know, poke your hole and then poke a hole about in the same spot. Make sure I'm not on the edge. My goodness. Did you hear all those beeps? Okay, I think I'm not exactly even. Could raise this one up just a bit, maybe. We'll cover up. Excuse me. Ah, there we go. So I have a hole here and a hole here. We are not going to worry about this bottom one. We'll work more with that top one. All right. So for the second, I am going to take this and I'm going to put it in. Just make a fake hanger. All right. That's all we're doing so you can see. Ta-da! I made a vase. No. Doesn't look like a shell. So it will look like that, right? But we're going to attach this to the bottom. And I'll explain why in just, you're going to attach this, you're going to turn the point, this point here, to one of the knobs at the bottom of your bottle, okay? So here is that hole, here is the top. We're sliding the bottle in and covering up that knob, okay? Now you kind of know how it's going to go, and I am going to put, hopefully, how close am I? I'm like going full off. You don't want no gaps at the bottom. It doesn't matter where it's going to sit. You're going to first fill this in with glue. Now you want to make sure you have no cuts or breaks in your bottle of either one. So make sure you don't have, like, sometimes they can crack. You don't want that. So I'm going to take some real heavy glue. And I'm going to just try to get it out. The hardest thing about thick glue. It doesn't like to come out, and I'm kind of at the end. That will be more than enough, if not too much. That's all right. We're going to use what we did. You want that to be so secure at the bottom that it doesn't fall off. That is our goal. So, take your worst brush, and my goodness, I have a lot of worst brushes. I do. And I'm just dipping it. And I'm just going to smear this completely around my bottle. Now, don't worry. Even if you leave some glue in there, guys, that's okay. Just make sure you get your edges. We're going to plaster over this anyway, but this needs to be secure and also needs to be, you can't hot glue it because it will melt your bottle. So we're using this is tacky glue. It's washable afterwards or waterproof to some degree. But we don't have to worry about that because we're going to be using spackling. And then we're going to waterproof it with outdoor waterproof. Okay, so as you see, that's not paint, that's only glue. Super cool, right? Now you're going to take this and you're going to put it in your bottle. Now you want that one side. And you're going to push it down, making sure you don't have any gaps. Now is the time to turn it. Gaps can be a problem. If you have a little bit of a gap, that's probably not so bad. But if you have a big gap, that might be a problem. All right. So now that is all in there, just like so. I'm going to peel off this little paint. Somehow I got paint on the back of this one. I wish I would have saw that first. Okay, so now we have a bottle looking good already, right? But it's not a seashell, is it? It's just a bottle with a vase. All right, put this away because we have our handles already made. My sleeves. Now we're going to use some spackling, and towards the bottom, I'll save that. I was going to use that, but it's my only piece. I'm going to have to use tissue paper. And we're going to kind of like paper mache this all the way around. And we're going to use spackling. Don't think I'm going to need it all, but I know I'm not going to need it all. I guess I'll take the inside since the outside don't want to work. And of course, I don't even think I need that much. You are going to cover the whole thing fairly well. Let's use like all of my yellow here. That should be. There we go. I think that should be plenty. I got more if we need it. Probably really loud by the speaker there, isn't it? I'm just kind of lining them up. They don't have to be anything perfect. Hold it back up in your little square. Grab your paper scissors. We're going to just cut it right down the center here. This should be more than enough. I'm just using what I have, just like so. And then I'm going to cut the inside edge here. Just kind of find your center of them all and cut them. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to just kind of like paper mache, except for we're using spackle. Like so. That piece got rather small. We'll save that just in case. I think this should be more than enough for right now. Now we're going to cut them in squares. You can actually probably cut it one more time, except for these small ones. Small squares are easier than big squares, just FYI. So I'm cutting my paper one more time here. This is a homemade craft, guys. Came to me in a dream last night. I don't know. Let's see if it works. So I cut them into this size strip, like so. Hello. Thanks for coming tonight. And set that other one right on top. And I'm doing about maybe 3-inch strips, give or take. As you know, I don't do any measuring unless I have to. This you don't have to measure nothing. Just cut it for it's comfortable for your hand. I use my paper scissors. I have big pieces and small pieces. It doesn't matter. All right. Now we got to make some plaster, not plaster, spackling paste. All right. So what I'm going to do, I know I'm going to have to add to mine. There's not much in here, and this is kind of dry. So I'll show you how I do that. I have spackling of different colors, and it doesn't matter because we're going to paint over it after it's all done. You're going to want napkins or paper towels. My paper towels I've tried into the other room, so I'll be using napkins tonight. Don't need many. And I'm going to add my yellow into the green. My spackling has been mixed with paint, and it's getting old, so I have to use it up. Otherwise, it's going to just not be any good for me. Once I mix it, I put them in containers like this. So that's going to be more than enough, I promise. I want to keep my container moist, so when I mix some more later on, in fact, this says white on it. It used to be a white one, and it's yellow. All right. We're going to add warm water, friends. My poor drinking water. I hardly ever get to drink my water. A little at a time, like so. And you're going to mix it. You want it real nice and smooth, and then we're going to eventually make it really runny. Not real runny, but you want it, that's just too thick. It's just like not good. So we're going to add a little more water. Again, a little bit at a time. I looked all over for this the other day, and here it is right next to me. Hilarious. Now I use warm water. It just helps the paste get a little moist faster. Cool water takes a little bit more time. Now, as you can see, it's getting a little bit more runny. You don't want it pure water, but you want it very pliable. And I want it just a little bit more runnier than what this is. This isn't quite runny, see? It's not running. Nowhere at all. So let's make it a little bit runnier. So I gave it just a tad more than what I have in the past. A few minutes. This helps it dry faster too. See, it's getting where it's really workable. But I want it just a little bit more runnier. I tell you, it's a little at a time. You want to almost a pudding mix with a little bit where it can drop. Do you see how it started to drop? See that? That's what you want. Or it's starting to drop off your spoon or your whatever you're using to stir with. Mix it up real well. So as you can see, it's very, pretty loose. I wish I had my little mixer. Now this would work, but I do like it just a tad looser. Just a couple more drops. I want to be able to put it on like paper mache. So now it's getting running. You see that? Pick it up and it starts running. Has some globs in there. I don't know why. So my green spackling became a lemon lime. That's okay. No problem. Wore the wrong shirt, but hey, if it gets wrecked, it's only 100 years old, so it will be just fine. Okay, so now I'm seeing that my bottle has stuck. Is it dry? No, it's not. It's not going to be dry for a couple days, I can tell you. But I can't pull it off, so that's great. I'm going to shift this over. I hope everyone can see. I'm going to tip it down. I did this the wrong direction. Put this over here. I'll put these here. I'm just going to take some paste. Now you could paste the whole thing. I don't recommend that. I just do a little bit at a time. Now, newspaper or any kind of that kind of paper would be really good. Tissue paper rips easily. We're just putting it on. I'm going to use a brush. Where's my junk brush I just had? I'm just going to paste over it. Just like so. If it rips, don't worry about it. Just move it to another spot. Push it down. Tissue paper is not the best thing to use, friends. It's not. It's the only thing I have left here right now. But if you're gentle, you will be able to do this. Just lay it on. You might have to do a couple layers. Pretty simple. Pack it down. Kind of fun. Fun to get dirty once in a while. I get dirty often. Now you want to make sure when you do the top here, press that down. Send it right over the jar. Packing it down, making it kind of stick. Now once we get this all laid on, we're going to make this even thinner and do a second coat. I think I put too much down on that one side there, so I'm going to just kind of ease up a little bit. And just go right over the edge. If you make a hole, just put another piece of tissue on it. It's not going to matter. We're going to Mod Podge over all this and everything. So this will probably be a 2-day project because it has to dry, of course. Wherever your tissue stops, hits the bottle, wherever, that's where it's going to go. And just smooth it out. It's not hard, just messy. We like to be messy, don't we? Now this is spackling. You're not going to want it to go into your drain. So if you do, wear stuff that you're not going to matter to you where it goes. Now I'm just going over it very lightly. Get underneath there. Just covering it all up. It's pretty cool. And the smaller your bottle, the easier it is. You use a big bottle, you might have a few more issues like holding and stuff like that. And just continue to add on. And I kind of crisscross them to make sure it's like covered. Just like so. We'll glue that down in a little bit. Just take your brush or your finger, if you have anything on your fingers, and just push it down. Pretty fun, pretty simple. Very odd. That's okay. Odd is good. Need some just right here. Going over my little edges. Making sure it sticks. As smooth as you can. Now you can use paper mache, friends. I'm out of my paper mache, and I'm out of ingredients to make paper mache, but I had plaster. So, or spackling. I call that stuff plaster. I know it's not plaster. Again, I'm just pushing it down. Checking. Don't worry about this bottom. We're going to cover that up with a little bit heavier paper in just a second. I think we're going to have to do, I want to make a very light coat. I'm going to thin this out just a bit. Even more, just like I said. You get dirty at this craft, so just beware. Take a drink before you go on. Hello, Patricia. How are you tonight? Hope everyone comes on and sprinkles this out. Now I'm mixing this even thinner because we're going on to the second row. See, now it's like almost a drip. Simply just going to lightly paint it, very softly paint over it. Add some more. This time I'm starting at the top and working down. Not worried about that at the very simply and lightly. Just go over it, making it as smooth as possible. Now, it doesn't really have to be smooth. We're going to be making a shell out of this part. So I just want to make sure it's completely covered and that we have nothing to worry about. Any thin spots, you want to make sure that thin spot, if you can see the bottle at all, you want to cover it. Don't worry about the bottom. We haven't even got to the bottom yet. I'm using that as my handle. Just sealing up my little, anything that's sticking up. That's why I made that really light. Very light spot right here. That's been where my thumb was. So as you see, I'm covering it up. Now my paste, my spackling, I have it as thin as what would be a good comparison? A little thicker than Mod Podge. Not quite as thick as, I'm just, as you see, just tipping that down at the top. Same thing here. A little bit of paste there, bringing it back and sticking it down. It's not going to matter what's inside. Very nice. Now take off anything that looks grubby. Now my whole bottle is pretty well covered. It's bumpy. That's going to be all right. Not going to panic on that. Now here comes the strange part. I'm going to slide that right over there. We might need these in a little bit. I'm going to dry it just a bit. So it'll just fall down there. And this is just drying the top coat, friends. It will not dry the inner lower spackle. I don't have a paper garbage bag. I was hoping I had that, but I don't. Remember, this is a bottle. It can still melt even though it has plaster on. I'm just drying to hand touch. And if you get too close, your spackling will start bubbling on you. Keep it away. I think that will be all right. I don't know what I did there. My holder broke. Okay, so you have your bottle like so. Now normally I'd let it dry overnight. But we're going to keep going. Just kind of pulling off the spackle off my hands right now. All right. Love water, guys. Now you're going to take a piece of paper, like so, and you're going to crunch it, roll it, keeping it long. Not only one I have, so we have to make sure it kind of fits around the whole thing. I'm going to put a little bit of spackle there. Just a little bit of glue. It'll hold it. And as you see, it's not very heavy. Now you're going to twist it. Now you rolled it, now you're going to twist it. Try to twist it the best you can, like a rope. Now, if I was working, for the next day, you can hot glue this. Let's see if my hot glue will work. Because of it being wet, it might not. Let this, heat up for a second. Now, spackling, if you weren't going to touch it, and if I wasn't in a rush, I'm doing good tonight, Trish. For sure, I'm doing all right. I'm not rushing. Whoops. You see what I just did? Huh. You weren't supposed to do that. I don't know if my hot glue will stick to this because it's not dry. Now I only have this on because I don't want to lose my holes. Only reason I have that there. Making sure my holes are visible on both sides. So I just keep moving it to make sure the spackling doesn't get in there and make it a mess for me. All right. I'm just going to roll this kind of tight. This gets messier now, guys. This is a messy craft. You know me, I like to do messy. Not quite ready. Now off the glue stick. I may have to change glue guns because I kind of left this. I went upstairs to have dinner and forgot to shut it off. And I came back down and it was not happy with me. Can you imagine that? It's getting there. We'll give it another second or two. To explain now what we're going to do, I don't know if the hot glue will actually hold this because of it being wet. But we're simply going to wrap this around like a shell. I'm going to go a little bit lower. See, it's so wet that it's peeling. We'll let this one sit for just a little while. I want to show you the techniques, okay? So let me just grab another bottle. I'll do part 2 on this one so you guys can see. Oh, that one's cracked. Don't want any of them that are cracked. Cracked ones are terrible to work with. Should have plenty of good ones here. That one had water in it. That's not good. I'm just going to take our spackling. We can use our spackling. It will still work just like our wood glue did, or our craft glue. Now this one I'm going to do without the whole thing plastered. Slide it in and make it stick. Okay, so you have, make sure you push it on. Make sure you have the cap tight. It's very wet. There's tape on it. I didn't see that. All right. Now, of course, this doesn't have, this will stick in just a little bit. It won't take much. And I have a little lip right here. I'm going to try to cut that off. That actually worked. Now, the longer this is, the better it will work for you. Your goal is to like start midway up, like here's the V. Okay, so you're going to start about just a little ways up from there. So you're going to put your hot glue on here. Come on, hot glue, gotta work. Give it just a second to cool because it will melt your plastic. See what I'm doing? And then we're going to just kind of like wrap it. Keep this kind of tight. Doesn't have to be over tight. And it comes down. See, I'm just short what I want it to be. Oh, I wish I had another piece. Tissue paper's too thin for this part of it. Let me grab a piece of typing paper. That one here. Let me grab a piece of paper. Actually, I got my notebook here. It's a little bit stronger paper. I am going to just kind of fold this back. It has a little perforated edge, and we're going to rip that off. Now we need this paper to be very, very pliable, so you're just going to scrunch it. Scrunch it. Don't worry if it rips. It's all right. Open it back up, and then re-scrunch it a different direction. Try not to follow the same fold. I'm all out of my packing paper, guys. Terrible. I gotta go shopping. And you open it up, and you keep doing this until it's nice and pliable. Probably pick the thickest paper I had. Just basically beating up a piece of paper. You ever do that? I do it when I get really mad at people. I'll take a piece of paper and crunch it. They might ask me what I'm doing, and I just tell them I'm crunching a piece of paper instead of you. Now I'm going to twist it. Don't worry if it rips anywhere. I'm just making it pliable. Send it every direction you possibly can. And reopen it. Gotta get it soft. You have to get it as soft as this paper. It might be a little hard. You might have a little harder paper here. See it? It's ripping. Don't worry about that. See, now this end hasn't even been touched. We're going to scrunch that. And the more and more you scrunch it, the softer it becomes. I kind of roll it a little bit. Still not very soft, but it might be almost ready that we can apply it. Now I'm going to see if I can just roll it. And I'm going to add this in. Let's add a little bit of paste right here on the end. Just like that. That's going to hold that. We didn't need it very much longer, but we did need it longer. And then we have to twist it. And we're going to plaster over this with that. We're making a shell. So this is going to be glued around and around. making a coral shell. This wasn't all the way crunched, so it might be a little bit harder. Some of that we can trim off. Scratch. We're going to hot glue this spot right here. Hot glue it down. Same with right here, because that's going to be towards the tip. Tick. And cover up that cap. Coil it around. Break on me, stay. Now let's hot glue that right there, right to the bottle. Just like so. Now this little piece here, you can put it right over that cap. Just to cover that bottom. Get in there. And you really got to kind of like twist that end of it. That's going to be the bone of your tip here. Instead of, I have to add, my whole cap changed. Hold on. My glue release because I pulled so hard. One thing nice about this stuff, you can always redo it till it's solid. Sorry. All right, get in there. Stay. Now I'm going to just hot glue on my strip of papers. Twist it and stick it. Glue on your paper, whichever way it was rolled. Which way it was rolled, actually. I make these a lot. I don't know why I'm having so many problems tonight. Now we're going to add hot glue here. I'm going to add hot glue here. Again, we're making it a spiral. It's got really wide. It wasn't supposed to get that wide. And add more hot glue here for it to stick. And this is a good example of the paper not being soft, that it's not being workable like the top was. But it's getting better. Now you're going to add glue here and here. Pulling it tight around that edge. Trying to get this to spiral a little bit tighter. Thought I had my phone off. Really just kind of squishing it into a spiral. Do you see that? Paper can hold. Really wish I had other paper here. Tissue paper would just rip on you. Did you get all that ice? Or did you get snow, Patricia? Just put more glue on here because it doesn't seem to want to stick for me. Typical, right? We're getting 2 more inches tonight. Ain't that exciting? Ah, come on, stick. No reason why you can't stick. Don't know why it's not sticking, but hey, crap happens when you want it to work. Looks pretty awful right now. That's what I can hear you guys all saying. Okay, so this is step 2. Step 1 was the first step where we spackled it all to one. This is step 2, that you would put this around all this when it's dry. I'll go find some more paper. I thought I had newspaper or packing paper, and I'm out of both. I didn't know that. Okay, now it's starting to stick. I lied. Hi, Cindy. How are you? From Cindy Crafts Sensations. How are you? I watched you the other day. I had a good time. Thanks for coming. I'm having an awful time with this craft because it doesn't want to stick. I didn't know I was out of packing paper. Okay. So, looks like it's going to hold in line. Just needs to hold in that one spot. It needs to hold there. That's all it has to do. The other one's too wet. This one doesn't have its spackling on, so I'm going to do the spackling afterwards. Don't let go. Almost holding. Gotta love it. You're welcome. Now this piece is sticking out. I don't like how it's sticking. So I'm going to slice it, put it underneath. I'm going to hot glue it underneath. Like so. And then this one we'll just glue it right down on top. I didn't cut you. You don't have no reason to not stick. I talk to my crafts friends. If you haven't ever noticed, I yell at them. Stay. It's like a dog. It's want to do my way. All right. I'm going to try to move ahead. So, to start over, for you understand what we did, this is step one. You put tissue paper or paper on this to form, keep it from the clearness. This is a clear bottle. All right. Step two is to take your paper. This is still wet. I can't do it. And you're going to wrap your bottle around with paper, right? You do that on this. You'd wrap this. This is too wet to be wrapped. And this was applied like my not my Mod Podge, what am I? Paper mache, except for I use spackling in tissue paper because I want it to be very firm, right? You can use cement as well. I'm out of cement. I'm out of everything. I gotta go shopping. All right. So you're gonna do this. This is step one. Step two is to wrap your item like so. All right. Um, Once I start step three, you guys are gonna just die. I'm gonna take a quick picture. I'll make a reel of it. Picture, camera, action. Step one, step two. There you go. Trying to stay up with myself, guys. All right. Do I have enough in this one? Oh, this one was already pre-mixed. This is a green one. We'll just take this one. Well, maybe if we... Let's add it right into this. And try to re-thicken this part up. This was already pre-mixed once before, I guess. Looks like once. Guys, I save my spackling. I use spackling for so many things. It's unbelievable. Truly. Save your containers because you just refill them. Don't mix it and then put it in your water. Don't let it go down your drain. You will have one heck of a mess. So I'm going to just add that in. Yeah, it's not going to be enough to really thicken it because we watered it way down. Okay. So we're getting it thicker again, as you can see, right? It's getting thick, not like it was earlier. Now you're simply going to go over your spackle, your paper, now since I don't have any spackling on here, I'm just going to start at the top and I'm just going to make it. Let's see. Normally I do it this way. But this could work as well. I even give it a fun technique. I got a hair in there. Whose hair is there? Can't be mine. I can't be losing my hair. Not yet. I'm so young. Right. Now, wherever you went, you want to make sure you get into those little grooves. Get down into the spackle leaf onto your spiral. Soft one there. I have to grab a different. That one has hair on it. And again, I'm just going right over, pushing down anything. Now this spackle will dry green because of it dyed with green. There's something there. Now you're keeping your paper all together there. You just plastering over it, Mod Podging, not Mod Podging, paper mache over, whatever you want to use as your medium to have it stick. It's going to be a green shell when we're done. The other one will be a yellow one, so that one has to dry. I'm just putting that right on, just like I'm peanut buttering a sandwich. I think I showed you guys this once before. Couldn't find it in my notes or my videos, but I thought I did it with you guys. Could have been a homeschooling group, now that I'm thinking about it. So as you see, I'm just going right over my paper, pushing down my paper with any paste that maybe I have to glue down. Just push it down with your medium, whatever you're using. I use spackle. So you don't have your bottle showing. And then right in between here, I try to get that as smooth as possible. Something in that. In between. The round part spout doesn't matter if it's a little rough, but just have it all going the same direction. Too much there. It's easy to take it off, friends. It's like just painting it like butter. I'm using a stick. So as you know, a stick doesn't give you everything that a paintbrush gives, but we'll do the paintbrush in just a bit. No shell looks gorgeous. It's getting kind of cute. sticking it inside that one part so I can just kind of like gaze over it. The yellow hunks are in there. Oh, my brother's making coffee for me. Ha! Guys, I love coffee. I'm a huge coffee fan. So addicted, it's terrible. Little glob there as well, but we're just going to try to smooth that out. And once your paper gets a little wet, you can push it, see? Put that glob underneath there and got it moist. So I was able to break down that edge just a bit. Got to switch hands because we're doing the bottom half now. A little harder because your hand is trying to keep it as smooth as possible. Really kind of a fun, messiest craft you could do. And I'm not too dirty yet. Cover it right down to the tip. Get in those little grooves at the tip. That we should have cut, but I didn't do it, so. Making sure it's all covered. Gonna turn my hand a little bit. I'm gonna have to retouch up that top. Making a green vase, obviously, in a shell form. Making our own little shell. Down here, I'm going to just add some green in there. We'll use the paintbrush next to touch up anything that maybe didn't turn green, that we wanted green. All right. Now I don't have thin, but only in green or yellow. So we're going to take the yellow and we're just going to go around. Cover up anything that maybe did not stay. Have a little bit of contrast. Now this will dry overnight. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow. In between all my spirals. Now, I'm not worried about it mixing, guys. This will probably be the end of my spackling fun. So I go buy another one. So I'm hoping it's next week. Let's see. Oh, friends, I did some updating on my website. Oops, And I would like, um, if you're going to come to the retreat, go to craftingtime.store and buy your tickets through there. That has my PayPal on it. That retreat is in June. It's coming up very soon. Adding a little bit of color here. Continue that spiral around. Now I know it doesn't look like a whole lot here, but it is a lot. This has gotten heavy. Now tomorrow, once this is all dry, it will can't touch that. Don't touch. Doesn't look like much, does it? Looks like an upside down shell. We're going to put this one over a heavier bottle too, where it can dry as well. Going to have to dry it. There's nothing I can do about that. Now these are just two techniques of making a spiral. This will look like a shell when we're done. This one I'll finish up the shell once this is dry. I don't want to peel off my tissue paper off it. Right now it's just a little bit too wet, so tissue paper rips so fast. And I only use tissue paper because that's all I had left here. I'm going to keep all this in here. Kind of like dump that all like that, and I'll put a cover over it. But once we're done, and we glisten it up, and we add like a small little plant, I'll pick up a plant tomorrow. That's what's going to go in it. You put a plant inside here after you've done your shell, and they look so beautiful. But the process can be kind of messy. And these are made out of what's that called? Ice bottles, the ice drink bottles. That's what my friend uses all the time. I drink water. I don't know if I have the ticket for them anymore. Let's see. Oh, I do. See if I can find a nice one for you to read. Man, when I rip them off, I really like just shake them up. But they say ice. You can see that. I can't see that. Let me see if I can put something behind it. I suppose that won't show. Can't see that. It's white. Wait a second. What's that? Take my notebook. There. Now you'll be able to see. That is the kind of bottles that I've been using. Just for you know. And if you wanted to see how they were cut, go to yesterday's or the day before's event that I had here, and you can take a look at it there. But now this is going to have to dry overnight. It should be all dry probably by 3 in the morning. And we'll decorate it up with some sparkles. You could add diamond dust. In fact, you can even add that now. You know, not necessary, but being it's wet, I'm not worried about it being all over, but there you go. I touched it. One got a little green. Gotcha. You got a little green. Just kind of blend it in. Bloopers and jokes. I touched it. Shouldn't have touched it. Off my glue. Hmm. Gonna say. I'm just wiping off my. You don't want spackling to be drying on your stuff. Doesn't come off that easily on paper or stuff. Top like so. How bad did I damage that? Not that bad. Don't touch it, Kathleen. Well, guys, I hope you like this. We'll finish it up tomorrow. It will look adorable. Don't worry. Right now, it just looks like a hunk of stuff, but we haven't decorated it or added a flower. Some projects take 2 days, friends, and you need to let things dry. So, with that being said, we'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you all for coming. I certainly appreciate it. And let's see. We'll finish this tomorrow evening. I was thinking I was going to be home tomorrow morning, but I won't be. Um, so we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Thanks so much. Oh, now my thing is not working because I have spackling on my hands. Oh boy. Guys, it's so fun. All right. We'll see you later.